My brother betrayed me and got my fiancée pregnant. Then my parents took his side. You won't believe how I responded. My narcissistic brother got my fiancée pregnant, and my parents took his side. Now they're begging me for help, but they had no idea what I was going to do next. I guess I should start by saying, I always knew my brother Kyle, who's 20, was the golden child. Even when we were little kids, it was obvious. My parents, especially my mom, treated him like he was made of glass. If Kyle cried because his tower of blocks fell over, Mom would sit there with him for an hour, hugging him, telling him how sensitive he was and how he needed extra care. Me? If I got upset, they just told me to stop being a baby and clean up my mess. I learned real quick that there were two sets of rules in our house, one for Kyle and a much tougher one for me. Mom always said it was 'cause he was sensitive. And Dad had this whole dream of Kyle becoming a doctor because he had never made it through college himself. Kyle was supposed to be his second chance. Meanwhile, I was just, Michael. Not special, not sensitive. Just the kid who got good grades, stayed out of trouble, and didn't ask for much. And because of that, they mostly ignored me. It really hit me just how deep it ran when I got to high school. I earned a full-ride scholarship to study computer science. Busted my butt for it. I thought, finally, this'll be something they're proud of. I mean, what parent wouldn't be happy about their kid getting a full scholarship, right? I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was standing in the kitchen holding that acceptance letter, feeling proud for once. Mom glanced at it, nodded, and said, "That's nice, honey. Can you help Kyle with his med school applications later?" That was it. No big hug, no celebration, just help Kyle. And Kyle? He was still in high school, barely passing biology, but you'd swear he'd cured cancer the way Mom hyped him up. It wasn't just school either. It was everything. Like when I started dating Ashley our senior year. She was my first serious girlfriend, and honestly, she was amazing. Ashley had this way of making you feel calm just by being around her. She worked part-time at a salon while finishing school and was already saving for her future. She was smart, practical, kind, and she really cared about me. I wanted my parents to meet her, to see what I saw, but they didn't care. They didn't even want to meet her. When Thanksgiving rolled around, I asked if Ashley could come to dinner. Mom just said, "It's just high school puppy love, don't make a big deal out of it." That hurt more than I want to admit. Meanwhile, every one of Kyle's girlfriends was treated like royalty. Always getting homemade pie at dinner, getting fussed over like they were already family. I remember sitting at the dinner table once, listening to Mom ask Kyle's girlfriend about her dreams and career plans, while Ashley and I were basically invisible. But still, Ashley and I made it work. I went off to college on my scholarship, and she stayed behind, working and saving. We did long distance, weekend calls, visits whenever we could swing it. It wasn't easy, but we were building something real. Last summer, I proposed, saved up, bought her a simple but beautiful ring, and asked her in this little park near her apartment. She cried when she said yes, and we both laughed through our tears. It felt like, after everything, my life was finally moving forward, and shockingly, my parents actually seemed to accept her after that. Like flipping a switch, suddenly Ashley was part of the family. Mom started asking about wedding plans, dress shopping, all the stuff she never cared about before. I thought maybe they were finally seeing me, not just Kyle. Should have known better. Thanksgiving rolled around again, and this time I went home excited. I had so much to tell them about the wedding, my internship, how well school was going. It finally felt like things were coming together. That's when I got the text from Ashley. "Need to talk. Starbucks. Urgent." My stomach dropped. I tried to shake it off. Maybe she was just stressed about the wedding or something. I drove straight there, walked into that Starbucks, and the second I saw her, I knew something was wrong. She was sitting at a little table in the corner, both hands wrapped around a coffee cup like it was the only thing holding her together. She wouldn't even look at me. I sat down and opened my mouth to ask what was wrong, But before I could, she blurted it out. "I'm pregnant. It's Kyle's." I swear to God, it felt like the world just stopped. I couldn't breathe. I thought maybe I misheard her, so I asked her to repeat it. She did. And then she started crying, trying to explain. She said it happened over the summer. Kyle kept showing up at her salon, talking about how far away I was, how lonely she must be. She said she didn't even know how it started. It just happened. She kept saying she was sorry, that she didn't. For work? I interrupted, the anger bubbling over. Mom, Kyle's 24. He's a grown man. Why the hell are you still cleaning up his messes? Because we're his parents, she snapped back, like that was supposed to explain everything. Then she softened again. Michael, we need you. Please. I felt my chest tighten, but I kept my voice steady. Why should I help you? I asked. You made it real clear 4 years ago where I stood in this family. That's not fair, she said quickly. We didn't know what to do back then. Kyle made a mistake, but he's trying now. Trying? I cut her off. You mean he's still living off you, like he always has? There was a long silence. I could hear her breathing on the other end, shaky and uneven. Please, Michael, she whispered. Your father's health is bad. I don't know what we're gonna do. We have nothing left. I closed my eyes and took a long breath. For a moment, I pictured them. Dad, gray and hunched over, staring out a window in some cramped apartment. Mom pacing the floor, wringing her hands, and Kyle sitting on the couch, head down, just like that night 4 years ago. It was all too easy to picture, but I didn't feel bad for them. Not really. Mostly, I just felt tired, like this was exactly where all their choices had been leading. You chose him, I said quietly. You had a choice, and you chose Kyle. Now you're living with it. Michael, I have nothing to give you, I said. Goodbye, Mom. I hung up before she could say anything else. My hands were shaking when I set the phone down on the kitchen table. I stared at it for a long time, half expecting her to call back. She didn't. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat alone on the couch in the dark, replaying the conversation over and over in my head. I kept telling myself I didn't care. They made their bed. Now they had to lie in it. But no matter how many times I tried to convince myself, I couldn't shake this hollow, empty feeling inside. It wasn't guilt. I didn't feel sorry for them. It was just hearing my mom's voice again, hearing the desperation there. It stirred something in me I didn't want to deal with. The next day, I called Aunt Mary. Figured you'd call, she said, sipping her coffee. Your mom said she was going to reach out. She got my number from you? I asked, trying to sound annoyed but failing. Relax, kid, Aunt Mary said. I didn't give it to her. She must have found it some other way. You know your mom, she doesn't give up easy. I sighed and rubbed my face. How bad is it really, Aunt Mary? She let out a slow breath. It's bad, Michael. Your dad's heart ain't what it used to be. They're flat broke. And Kyle? Well, you know Kyle. Still sitting around waiting for life to hand him something on a silver platter. Your parents are barely scraping by. And your mom? She's drowning, and she doesn't know what to do. She shouldn't have to deal with it, I said bitterly. Kyle should. Yeah, well, Aunt Mary said. Some people never grow up. We talked a little longer, but when I hung up, I felt drained. Aunt Mary never sugarcoated anything, and I appreciated that. But hearing how bad things had gotten just made me feel more distant. I'd spent the last 4 years building a life they had nothing to do with. And now they wanted me to come back and fix everything? I wasn't going to do it. I couldn't. Over the next few weeks, I threw myself into work even harder. My company was growing fast, and we were rolling out a big update to our software, so I had plenty to keep me distracted. I told myself I was fine. They weren't my responsibility. I didn't owe them a damn thing. But late at night, when the apartment was quiet, I kept hearing my mom's voice. We need your help. Aunt Mary kept me updated, whether I wanted her to or not. I'd text her now and then, not because I cared, but curiosity's a funny thing. Hard to ignore once it gets its hooks in you. A week after that first call, Aunt Mary sent me an email. Thought you should know. Your parents sold their car. Kyle needed a new investment opportunity. God knows what for. Your mom cried for hours after they let it go. I read that line over my morning coffee and just shook my head. Selling their car. Typical. Bending over backwards to help Kyle. Again. Aunt Mary kept the updates coming. Apparently, Kyle tried getting into another business. Some old buddy convinced him he could make a fortune flipping refurbished electronics online. It flopped, of course. Kyle didn't know the first thing about running a business. Within a month, it all fell apart. But not before he begged my parents to invest in it. This time, they didn't have the money. Not after selling the house, not after selling the car. When they told him no, Kyle threw a tantrum, like a kid in the candy aisle being told no for the first time. Mom still tried to console him. We'll figure it out, sweetie. Mean for it to go that far. I didn't yell, I didn't cry, I just sat there. After a minute, I stood up, grabbed my keys, and left. Didn't say a word. I don't even remember the drive back to my parents' house. The radio was on, but it was just noise. I wasn't angry, I wasn't sad, I just felt hollow. When I pulled into the driveway, it was dark. I sat there for a minute, staring at the porch light, feeling like I was in some nightmare I couldn't wake up from. But I needed answers. The second I walked inside, there he was. Kyle, sitting on the couch, head down like a little kid who got caught stealing cookies. Mom was hovering over him, patting his back, handing him tissues. Dad was standing by the window, arms crossed, looking like he wanted to be anywhere but there. The whole house felt heavy, like they were all just waiting for me to show up. What the hell is going on? My voice was quieter than I meant it to be, but it still cut through the room. Mom jumped in first. Michael, let's sit down and talk about this calmly. Calmly. That word set me off. I didn't want calm. I wanted the damn truth. I looked straight at Kyle. You're the one who should be talking. Say something. Kyle just mumbled into his chest. What? Speak up, I snapped. Mom jumped in again, like she was his lawyer. He's taking responsibility, Michael. He's going to be a father. This is a big step for him. A big step, like he just won a scholarship or something. I laughed, but it wasn't a funny laugh. It was bitter, ugly. A father? I said. He can't even pass basic biology, and you think he's ready to be a dad? I looked at my dad, still standing there silent, staring out the window. You got anything to say, Dad? He finally turned around and sighed, like I was the one being difficult. They're young. Mistakes happen, Michael. If you really love Ashley, you need to let her go. Let her go? Like she was a puppy we couldn't keep anymore. I could feel anger boiling up inside me. Your son sleeps with my fiancée, and I'm just supposed to hand her over like it's no big deal. Don't talk like that, Mom snapped. This is a blessing, Michael. It's a sign. A sign of what? I said. That your precious Kyle can't keep it in his pants? Mom's face hardened. Kyle made a mistake, but he's stepping up. He's doing the right thing. We need to support him as a family. As a family. That broke something inside me. In that moment, I realized I wasn't part of their family. Not really. I was just the backup kid, the one who did everything right and never mattered as much as Kyle. I looked back at Kyle, still sitting there, still couldn't even lift his head. No apology. Nothing. You know what? I said, my voice shaking. Fine. You want to support him? Fine. 4 years after I walked out of that house, my phone rang. I didn't recognize the number at first. These days, most people reached me through email or Slack. Random calls were rare, but something in my gut told me to answer it. When I picked up and heard my mom's voice, I froze. Michael, she said, her voice cracking like she'd been crying for hours. Michael, it's me. Please, please don't hang up. It took me a second to find my voice. How'd you get this number? I asked. I hadn't spoken to her, or anyone in my family, in almost 4 years. I'd made damn sure they couldn't reach me. But somehow she'd found a way. I got it from Aunt Mary, she admitted. Please listen to me. We need your help. Things have been difficult. Difficult. That word felt like the biggest understatement in the world. I didn't say anything, just sat there gripping the phone so tight my knuckles turned white. I should have hung up right then, but I didn't. Maybe some stupid part of me still wanted to hear her out. What's going on? I asked, my voice flat and cold. I didn't even try to hide it. Mom let out a shaky breath, like she couldn't hold the words back any longer. We're in trouble, Michael. Your father's health isn't good. He's been in the hospital twice this year, and we had to sell the house because of Kyle's mistakes. Kyle's mistakes, I repeated, biting down the anger rising in my chest. She hesitated, then blurted it out. Kyle had borrowed $40,000 for some so-called business opportunity one of his friends pitched him. She didn't say what it was, probably because she didn't know or didn't want to admit how stupid it sounded. Either way, it flopped within a month. All the money was gone. When Kyle couldn't pay it back, my parents stepped in, draining their retirement savings to cover his mess. Between that and Dad's medical bills, they had no choice but to sell the house. They were living in a tiny 2-bedroom apartment now. And of course, Kyle had moved in with them. Where else would he go? Michael, we don't have anything left, Mom said, her voice thin and shaky. Kyle's trying. He's been looking for work. Looking. Don't worry. It would have been funny if it wasn't so damn pathetic. Meanwhile, I kept moving forward. My company was having its best year yet. Our software was getting real attention. I started traveling to meet investors and business partners. I bought a new car, upgraded to a bigger apartment. For the first time, my life really felt like mine. Built from the ground up. No help, no strings attached. I didn't tell anyone at work about my family. To them, I was just another guy who worked hard and got lucky. Maybe that's all I was. Then, about 3 months after that call, Aunt Mary sent another email. This one hit harder than the rest. Your dad had another hospital visit. Hard again. He's stable, but it scared your mom half to death. She won't say it, but I think she knows she's out of options. I sat there staring at my phone for a long time after reading that. My dad, the man who once seemed invincible to me as a kid, was falling apart. Even if he'd never been the warmest, he was steady, strong, unshakable. And now,